Good morning, Ahiah. My name is Chris Glick. I'm one of the spiritual practitioners at Ahiah, and I'm going to lead you in a meditation today. And this meditation is one which is dear to my heart. It is the meditation that will allow you to breathe in the love of God, to breathe in all the good in the world. And I want you to start just by taking some deep breaths. As you breathe in, I want you just to allow that breath to fill your soul, your body, your mind, your spirit. Each breath you take, deep healing. Feel your body just being filled with this essence of what spirit is. As you hear the beautiful sounds just right there, along with, as your eyes are closed, be aware of all those colors that you're seeing. Just linger there. Allow them. These little color things are biophotons, or light, or vibrations. They're there always as you open your awareness to them. Instantly, you feel the connection. As you breathe in, and those colors light up in you, and they fill you with all the good that you know. You are directly connected to a presence which always says yes. As you breathe in this presence, which is all around you, all around me, all around the music, all around where you are. Just sit in this space and take it all in. It's like being in a garden that gives you all these wonderful things just to sit there, and you have fragrances, you have beauty, flowers, birds, insects, leaves, grass, running water. There's a little stream in your garden, always running, just running, all the time, carrying life, carrying that same breath that you breathe in whenever you choose, and whenever you allow Spirit to breathe through you. Those colors are just magnificent. You're in the stream of this consciousness, just outpouring all the good. You are completely relaxed. As you just take this in, you're just sitting by the stream, that stream of life, stream of water, stream of color, just filling you. You are in the garden of ever-fulfilling love and light. It only knows to fill. You know to receive. It feels so good. As the breath goes through your energy centers, you're aware that it is just making everything just right. And you take your hand and just place it on your heart. And just hold your hand there by your heart. You feel the coolness of the stream, yet the heat from the divine emanation of all the love and light. You feel so good. You feel that like a salve that warms your heart. Just feel that. That is life in you. Being exalted by you. That place where Spirit comes in, through the breath, feeling it in the heart. That heart is now glowing. That heart glowing is like an ember. The fire never goes out, yet the fire never burns. It is the fire which the ancients called the cosmic fire. It carries all thoughts, all life, just like the acorn carries all the life of the oak tree. For it is one. You are one. Now that heat you feel in your body is just expanding throughout your chest area. Just by holding your hand on your heart, you are allowing that heart to radiate all that good all throughout your system, all throughout your energy centers, your organs, your extremities. Just everywhere you feel this now, just growing. You are like a little ball of cosmic fire, just out there, lighting your path. In your path, you are weaving the transformation of who you are into the flow of life. You are the flow of life. You feel this presence now, all the way down to your toes, all the way up to your crown chakra. I feel the Spirit just filling, and as I know it fills me, it's radiating out just like the breath, just like the stream in my garden. I allow this to flow through, around, in me, as me. I am now fully relaxed. I am in heaven. This is heaven. This is heaven on earth. This is where all creation emanates. As Spirit enters my heart, distributes all this love. As my heart distributes this love to all the cells throughout my body, as I breathe in and as I breathe out, all of this energy is just being propelled into this world, this universe, just filling somebody else's life with love. And they receive that love. And they do the same. They breathe it in. And it fills their whole sense, their whole body, their whole being with that love that's always flowing through each one of us as we allow awareness of this. As we allow, we can feel that coming back to us. We call it a download of Spirit, but that's yourself sending love and receiving love and being aware of it. Just stay in that stream of life and sit down by the little pond in your garden and take this in, take this love in, receive as you give, for your gift is receiving that love as you give. Namaste. The meditation is now complete. please join us as we bring you love and we bring you this service in a few minutes. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you, Mahesh.
Well, God morning, Ahiah. That was the Sunday band, smooth jazz on a Sunday morning. Boy, spoiler alert, if you want to enjoy some jazz, come on down on Sunday morning. Welcome to live streaming and live service for the Ahiah Center for Spiritual Living in beautiful downtown sunny Pasadena, California, USA. And we have live service here. We beloveds are sitting in the audience, and we are saying God morning to you because whenever you're viewing this, it is morning somewhere on the planet. And wherever you are, God is. That we know for certain. And boy, we just were in the groove there. We thought we were going to go for another hour or so. Maybe we have a jazz service this morning. I'm Reverend Michael Bernard Lattimore, your assistant minister, your guide on the side this morning. Honored to be here with you to facilitate this live streaming service. And I want to also acknowledge some of the beloved ones who make this service possible. We've got Harris, our technical director, in the back. He's making all the magic happen so we can live stream. And also behind the scenes, we've got Gloria in the sound booth. She's over there hatching in, raising the levels. And we've got Troy working tirelessly behind the scenes. He's doing all the stuff, keeping us safe and secure. And who else is practitioner of the day is Chris Glick. Yes, Chris Glick. Chris will be leading us in an invocation, yes, and inspirational reading. And boy, and then of course, everybody who's here in the audience just holding it down, bringing your light so that we can shine this light on the planet, creating a world that works for everyone with no one left out. And our musical inspiration today, the voice extraordinaire, Alison Lewis, is in the house. Alison, we love you. So good to see you. The theme for this month is Living Everyday Wonders. Living Everyday Wonders. I can imagine you can look around and say, there are a lot of wonders going on around this camp. Yes, indeed. The Wisdom Talk for today, delivered by our senior minister, Reverend Scott Olson, is Wondrous Outcomes. And I am slated also to do a power talk. So we're going to, so nice, we're going to do it twice. We'll bring you some extra love this morning. And I think it's about time that we get God's party started, don't you? Indeed. So let's enjoy this beautiful visual meditation crafted lovingly by Gabriel, and we'll do that, and then we'll move right into God's party. Namaste, family.
Love the music in you, love the song you sing. Let it bring you joy, let it give you wings, let it carry you beyond what you know, beyond old ideas of how your song goes. I love the music in me, I love the song I sing, I let it bring me joy, I let it give me wings, I let it carry me beyond what I know, beyond old ideas of how my song goes. So love the music in you, love the song you sing, let it bring you joy, let it give you wings, let it carry you beyond what you know, beyond old ideas of how your song goes, beyond old ideas of how your song goes.
Yes. Thank you, Gabriel, for that video. And so now I'd like to ask Chris to come on up. He's going to do our reading and invocation.
Okay. I have to adjust all the masking, so I will. Good morning, Ahiah.
Good morning.
Wonderful to be here and to have everybody here and to be fearless and alive. And that's what we are, and we're just doing that. We're doing the life that we are. And I want to read today from Ernest Holmes' 365 Science of Mind. And this one is very poignantly appropriate today, I believe. A certain future awaits me. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised. This is a quote from the Bible, from Hebrews. Can't read the little numbers, but that's okay. We know that. We are not enough at home in the universe. We are afraid of it, afraid to live. If the time ever comes to you and to me, when we see God in everything and in everybody, we will never be alone or lonely. Every experience will but more vividly reveal the warmth and color and beauty and responsiveness of the universe in which we live. Its entire nature is given to us. We are on the verge of a vast possibility. The individual or nation without a vision must perish until the vision is reborn. What is our vision going to be in the midst of confusion, doubt, and uncertainty? It is either going to fall before the confusion and be destroyed, or something transcendent within us is going to rise and look to a certain future, to an eternal reality, to a God principle, to an infinite presence responding to us according to our acceptance. There is no individual good. Good belongs to everyone. Good fulfills itself only as it multiplies itself. Therefore, there is no good that belongs to you and to me alone, no final peace to us only as individuals. The watchword is not exclusion, but inclusion. And the more good we release, the more good we experience. I am part of one tremendous whole whose nature is of God. It is in this divine nature, this inevitable union, that I consciously walk and talk with the infinite until it becomes dynamic and real to me. I'm thankful for every opportunity to let God's life be expressed through me. And now I'd like to do the invocation. Just breathe in this divine space, this universe, this life that is ever flowing, that I am a part of. Just open your eyes to this. Breathe it in. Accept this. This is you. This is me. This is God. This is music. This is word. This is art. This is light. This is love. This is a list of qualities that I perceive as God qualities because they are universal. I resonate to them, knowing that God is in me, God is around me, through me, and that I am of God, and we are individually the same. I know that this presence resonates through each one under my breath, and multiplicities going back to all those generations. Just think, there were about 4,000 grandparents that are the reason why you're here today. 400 years ago, you were still here, but you were a conception of the divine. And in this divine, I just know that as we all resonate in this, as we all are part of this, I give great thanks for this, knowing that it is the truth. I accept it. I know that you accept it because there is nothing other than that. It's just God. It's just life. It's just love. It's being who we are. It's the songs we sing. It's the music we play. It's the stories we write. It's the stories we tell. It's God coming through each of us. And I give thanks for that. I love that. And I know this word is real. It is the truth. I know that it comes back manifest as I speak to God, as I commune with God. For this is the law of the life that I am, that you are. And together, we just say one thing. We say, and so it is. Amen and amen. Namaste.
Thank you, Chris. And so, I'd like to ask Alison to come on up. She's our musical inspiration today, and I'm looking forward to hearing her.
While we wait for the pianist that's going to be joining us, Chris said that we were indeed here 400 years ago, and through our grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-great-great-great-grandparents, and this song actually has a line that speaks to that. So I was just really pleased to hear that connection to the music that we're about to present to you. May I suggest to you, may I suggest this is the best part of your life. May I suggest this time is blessed for you. This time is blessed and shining, almost blinding bright. Just turn your head and you'll begin to see the thousand reasons that were just beyond your sight. The reasons why I suggest to you, why I suggest this is the best part of your life. There is a world that's been addressed to you, intended only for your eyes. A secret world, like a treasure chest for you, of private scenes and brilliant dreams that mesmerize. A tender lover's smile, a tiny baby's hands, the million stars that fill the turning sky at night. And I suggest, yes, I suggest to you, yes, I suggest this is the best part of your life. There is a hope that's been expressed in you, the hope of 7 generations, maybe more. And this is the faith that they invest in you. It's that you'll do one better than was done before. Inside you know, inside you understand, inside you know it's yours to finally set right. And I suggest, yes, I suggest to you, yes, I suggest this is the best part of your life. This is a song, comes from the west to you, comes from the west, from the slowly setting sun. This is a song with a request of you to see how very short the endless days will run. And when they're gone, and when the dark descends, we'd give anything for one more hour of life. And I suggest this is the best part of your life.
Thank you, Alison. Oh, good morning, everyone. It's so wonderful seeing you here and also knowing all those lovely folks who are online. And so, it just occurs to me right now as I think about what we have experienced so far this morning between Chris's talk or his meditation earlier, his prayer, the song that Gabriel chose and the song that Alison chose, that it all feels to me just this kind of comforting joy that just moves along easily. And so I'm grateful for that. So we continue on with our theme of living everyday wonder. And so as we live everyday wonder, you know, what we've had so far this morning has reminded me of joy. And that joy that we have, as Chris mentioned in his prayer, is a quality of spirit. You know, there's these qualities that we ascribe to God, and we say that it is 100% this, 100% love. Not that it's only love, but that there's nothing that violates love. There's nothing that counters love that is in spirit. In the same way with joy, there is nothing within spirit that is the antithesis of joy. There is only joy. There's no sadness. And spirit creates out of these qualities, creates into our life. So you could say then that underlying everything that we see and feel and we touch is a little bit of joy, is the joy that spirit is. And so, you know, when I feel joy, what I've come to realize is that I feel kind of this expectancy on the universe, knowing that there is joy built in to the universe. I expect, therefore, to have this joy show up for me when I'm looking for it. And that's different than happiness, because I experience something and it makes me happy or it doesn't, right? And the problem with happiness is that we put, you know, so often the things that we are judging our happiness by, we have put the bar up here and the thing is down underneath it. And so I can always count on feeling joy, but I can't always count on feeling happiness. You know, let me give you an example of that. When I go walking in the nature park, you know, I talk about going for walks with my dog in the nature park all the time, because it's such a sweet area of my neighborhood. It's out in the nature, it's pond and ducks and flowers and all sorts of stuff. And as I'm walking through the nature park, I can easily feel joy because I see it in nature all around me. But here's the thing, if I try and take some of that nature, it's no longer nature, right? If I pick a flower and take it with me, it's no longer part of nature, it's become my possession. And that flower may make me happy in this moment, but you know, a couple hours from now when it's all wilted, it's probably not going to make me happy anymore. And so the idea then is that if I want joy, I partake of the joy. I don't take the joy. You know, there's a definition of what it means to be a partaker. If you're a partaker, according to Webster's, I think it was, it says you're an accomplice, an associate, a partner. And so as I decide I'm going to be a partaker of the joy that is around me, I'm really an accomplice with Spirit. I'm an accomplice with God. I'm an accomplice of living my life in a way that that joy expresses through me also. And so, you know, living everyday wonders. We get to live in joy. And I'm going to ask Reverend Mike to come on up, and he's going to tell us a little bit about how he lives his everyday wonders.
Thank you, Rev. Absolutely. Good morning, family. Wondrous Outcomes. Thank you, Alison, for reminding me of the absolute truth with that song. Because you, all of you, even those of you at home, you are that wondrous outcome. You are the answer to your ancestors' prayer. They prayed that you would be born to be exactly who you are today. The culmination of those 8,190 ancestors over the past 12 generations, You carry a piece of them, of their hope, their joy, their answered prayer. And here you are, a wondrous outcome. My. But isn't it strange that many people don't know that, don't even know that they don't know it, and wouldn't accept it if you told them? Most people, as I shared last week, are walking around with a thought virus, just like the computer virus. You know, if you have a computer virus and you don't know it, you'll give it to people that you're communicating with. You don't even know it. But walking around with a thought virus called, I'm upset because. And you can insert after because anything. I'm upset because I got to wear a mask. I'm upset because your car is going slower than my car. I'm upset because you want to change lanes. I'm upset because, and on and on and on. Not realizing that when a thought and an emotion, a feeling, get together, anybody know what happens? They have a baby. That's right. They have a baby. And sometimes that baby is an ugly baby. And you don't want nobody telling you your baby is ugly, do you? And some people are upset about the virus, the pandemic. And it occurred to me in meditation why we have a virus. Now, this is not an original thought. I got to let you know, 30 years ago, my sponsor planted this thought in my mind. I had called him up whining about the fact that I was having car trouble. And he said to me, you know why you got car trouble? I said, no, why, Bob? He said, because you have a car. You have a car. I remember when you didn't have a car, and you didn't have car trouble either. But now you got a car, and you got car trouble, right? And so you know the reason we have a virus? Because we're alive. We're human. And we're sharing the planet with bacteria and viruses and chickens and animals and birds, right? We're sharing the planet. I mean, we're not the first ones to have a virus. 100 years ago, Spanish flu, right, ravaged the world, just like coronavirus. I would venture even worse because they didn't have the vaccine, you see. And they had a first wave that decimated a bunch of folks, and then they thought they were done, and then the soldiers came home from World War I, and they had a second wave, which was worse than the first wave. No? 100 years later, we still have the flu virus. We have variants of it. And if you go get a flu shot, there's a good chance that it won't be the same strain, the same virus that is prevalent here in your location, right? Because there's hundreds, probably thousands of strains. And coronavirus is doing the same thing. It's mutating. It's creating variants. It wants to live. Science is saying, oh, no, viruses aren't alive. They don't meet the criteria of life. Well, I don't know about that. I'm not too sure about that, you know. They say that the reason that we don't recognize alien life, you know, is because we can't wrap our minds around it, right? That it could be here. I mean, who knows? Maybe coronavirus is the alien life. I always said that one way to bring us all together as human beings is to have the ship come down, right, from that other planet, you know, those ones. And once they come here, we'll be like, oh, we're all humans. They're the other ones, right, you know. And maybe that's what coronavirus is doing for us, you know. Maybe it's bringing us together in a way in which we need to be brought together. Who knows? Who knows? I know it's certainly made a shift in my life. I love what Eckhart Tolle says, right? In the book, The Power of Now. He's got a quote that I just love, right? Eckhart says, that terrible feeling of stress, frustration, and anxiety is your body telling you that something is wrong. You have forgotten that now is all there is, all there ever was, and all that there ever will be. To be stressed is to believe that you need a different set of circumstances, external, before you could be happy. But if you are seeking liberation externally, you will continue to seek for a lifetime, experiencing only brief relief and temporary relief from agony. But when you feel that you have no power, like you are adrift on a stormy sea, it can only be that you have forgotten what is real. I think of the story of the master teacher on the boat, and the seas were stormy, and the apostles were like, Lord, Lord, we're getting ready to die. Wake up. And he was in meditation, of course. And he woke up and said, peace, be still. He called himself into the moment, and immediately the seas calmed down. We have that same power inside of us, the power of dominion, to call forth the absolute truth. For in this moment, no matter what it looks like, no matter how stormy the seas are, how high that tsunami is, the only thing that's happening is God. God. And you, as a wondrous outcome, have been implanted with the power to either leave the situation alone, do something about it, or surrender fully and let it be. For it is what it is. And that's all it is. And if we can accept it as what it is, we can have peace. The young man, Siddhartha, thousands of years ago, went off in search of the meaning of suffering. And he discovered that suffering comes from birth. Because we are born, there will be suffering. Old age, sickness, death. These are just the conditions of human beingness. And what he discovered is that inside of us, there is that one who goes by many names and responds to them all. We think of Siddhartha, we think of the Buddha nature. We think of Yeshua of Nazareth. We think of the Christ nature. In many circles, it's called the Atman. It's called Zoroaster. It's called Yeshua, Adonai, Elohim, many different names, and yet it responds to them all. In religious science, we use a 5-step prayer treatment. We call it a spiritual mind treatment because we know there's one mind, and that mind is connected. And the first step is recognizing that God is. That is it. God is. And that is a panacea. It's an antidote. It's an antivirus, right, for any thought virus that says I'm upset because. And in this philosophy, we say it like this. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect life. And that life is my life now. And if one time doesn't do it for you, try chanting it. Use it as a mantra. As you move through the day, amongst all the people that are thinking I'm upset because, be thinking that thought. And watch as that flow of goodness goes around you. The idea that this is the best part of our life. It may look kind of crazy, but God is. And because God is, I am. So try that antivirus solution. It makes for a beautiful little baby. So you don't have to throw your ugly baby out with the bathwater. You could just clean it up and give it more love, right? That baby is the best part of your life, for sure. Namaste, family.
Thank you, Rev. Absolutely. Clean up that baby. Oh, so, Ernest Holmes said something. He said this. He said, here and now, we are surrounded by and immersed in an infinite good. How much of this good is ours? All of it. All of it. You know, that's such a good reminder, because we get to kind of stew in that a little bit. We get to recognize the truth of it and go, well, if that's true, then why is my life showing up the way it is right now? I wonder, right? We get a lot of wondering going on this month, right? So the talk title, as Reverend Mike said, is Wondrous Outcomes. And so we're going to explore a little bit about this idea of how do we get wondrous outcomes? What is it that shows up, and what kind of keeps us from doing that? But first I want to go back to the basics, right? Because it's January, and we have a commitment in January that we will go through each of the 4 sections of the Introduction in the Science of Mind textbook, just real briefly to remind us of these very basic ideas of what the truth is that we teach here at Centers for Spiritual Living. And so we started off a couple of weeks ago with the first one, which is the thing itself. And really simply put, Reverend Mike mentioned this, maybe Chris did in his prayer too, I forget now, but there's only one life. Only one life. There's nothing else but God. It's God and nothing else. Simple enough, right? And then the other idea that's unique to our philosophy, or to at least the New Thought philosophies, is that thought is creative. And then the second week last week we talked about the way it works. And we had a couple of things in there. We said our thought is our personal use of the creative intelligence, right? And so if that's true, then I am using this one in creative intelligence, and so are you. We share this one intelligence. And then we went on to say that Spirit works for us by working through us. We can't have Spirit just, work outside of us. It wants to work through us. And part of that is us aligning our thoughts with the creative aspects that God is, right? The love, the peace, the joy. And some of it is, moving our feet. So we get to treat and move our feet is the process. Now this week, the section we're talking about is what it does. And when you say what it does, it makes me think of somebody walking around doing things, right? And we know that God is not the big guy in the sky or anything like that. But what Spirit does do is it creates all the time. It's infinitely creative. It is creating every moment of our lives. That's Spirit at work always. And so, I get to ask, well, it's creating, but what's mine? And we already talked about that. We have this quote up here. All of it's mine. All that is out there is actually mine. But, so often, if that's the truth, then why do I feel limited? If everything in the universe is already mine, then why do I feel limited? Well, Ernest Holmes goes on to explain in this quote, he says, "It's the nature of the universe to give me what I am able to take. It cannot give me more. It has given all, even if I have not yet accepted it." So it's given me everything, but I have to accept what it's given me for me to actually feel like it's mine. There's another similar way that shows up, which is the wisdom that God is. We share this one mind, and so our mind, our consciousness is the mind that God is. And so in that way, we can say this: even though all of its wisdom is poured over us, we receive only that which we are ready to understand, right? So on one side, on the things in life, we have to accept them. right? We have to be able to know that they're ours. And for the wisdom and intelligence and clarity that God is, that we share, we have access to all of that. But we have to be willing to and ready to understand it. And what gets in the way of our understanding? It's our commitment to holding on to the untruths that have been taught us. We prefer to believe, continuing to believe the things that we were taught rather than opening ourselves up to new possibilities, new ways of thinking. And so, how is it that we can counter that? Well, I think the best way to do that is just to be curious. Allow ourselves to wonder, right? We're doing more and more wondering this month. And this is, curiosity and wondering go hand in hand. And Mary O'Malley, she says this about that. She says, curiosity is the art of bringing your attention and your immediate experience together. So, so often my attention is flowing all over the place. It's in the past, it's, worrying about what happened in the past, projecting it into the future. But when I live in the now moment, now I can be curious. Curiosity only lives right now. And so as I allow myself to be in this now moment, now I can just open myself up and say, I'm curious, why did that thing that just happened happen? What happened there? And I get to get some wisdom out of it. So if we are infinitely wise, or if we're not, we have all of it. And why do we live in lack and limitation? Well, I think the number one reason is fear. And so I've been thinking about that quite a bit lately. And so I decided actually to go into my library. I have hundreds and hundreds of books that are in my Kindle, and many of them I haven't quite read yet because I get more, input from people. This is a great book that I can keep up with the reading, right? So I was looking through my Kindle, and I'm thinking about fear, and there's a book titled Fear, right? And it's a book by Thich Nhat Hanh. And the title of that is Essential Wisdom for Getting Through the Storm, is the subtitle on it. Essential Wisdom for Getting Through the Storm. I looked at the copyright date for this book, and it was 2012. So it was published 10 years ago. And as I was starting to read this, I was thinking, because I always like to think when this book is written, what was going on at that time? And when we think back to it, we go back 10 years ago. The financial crisis had just happened a few years before that. We were still in a recovery phase in 2012. And also, we were still in the middle of the Iraq and Afghanistan war. And so that was still going on. And he lives in France, and we all remember that there have been some really brutal terrorist attacks in France. And so I think fear was probably heavy on his mind as he was writing this. And that's why he wrote it. And as I was preparing for the talk, I'm reading this book, and I'm realizing that I read a section out of chapter 14, I think it was, and he's talking about Martin Luther King. And I'm thinking, well, look at that. Monday is Martin Luther King Day. And he says that he talked to Martin Luther King back in 1966, which made me pause for a minute because I was like, well, how old is the man then? So I looked it up, and Thich Nhat Hanh is still alive. He's 95 years old now. Yeah. And, so he talks a little bit about what they discussed, and he said that part of what they really discussed, what they really dug into in this idea of what do we do with fear? Well, Martin Luther King's suggestion was that we really need to create the beloved community. The beloved community, this place that, you know, Reverend Mike and Marcia and Kelly and I have been talking about for well over a year now, as we bring that as a monthly thing here to Ahiah. But it was interesting, you know, all the stuff that we've talked about, he brought another way of looking at it just slightly. It's that he thinks of it, Thich Nhat Hanh then thinks of it, in terms of being a Buddhist, right? Because that's his upbringing. That's his philosophy. And so he talked about it in the terms of Sangha, is the term that they use in Buddhism. And so it's interesting, the definition that he has for Sangha, this is Thich Nhat Hanh's definition. He says, it's a group of people who together practice generating mindfulness, concentration, and insight. Mindfulness, concentration, and insight. And as I thought about that, I thought, you know, that's what we do here. That's what we do right here at Ahiah. You know, Chris led a meditation this morning where we're concentrating on mindfulness. Right now, we're talking, you know, Reverend Mike and I are trying to look at ways of giving us insight into this thing called our life, this thing called you, as Ernest Holmes has titled his book. And so we're doing the exact same thing. We have another term. We have creating the beloved community, or we can call it a Sangha if we want. And so one of the things that he does in the book is he invokes the idea of Kuan Yin. And Kuan Yin is a bodhisattva of compassionate listening. Compassionate listening. And he says about that, he says that that we should listen without giving advice or passing judgment. Now, having been a practitioner for, I think I'm at 16 years-ish now, and having taught practitioners, and you know, I am blessed to be working with a number of practitioners here at Ahiah. That's exactly what we teach our practitioners. That was exactly what was taught me, to listen without giving advice or passing judgment. And so in a Sangha or a beloved community, he says that we should be generating a collective energy of mindfulness and concentration. And so all we need to do then is we need to practice what we teach in order to create a Sangha, to create a beloved community right here at Ahiah. It's not just the ministers and the practitioners, but everybody. Everybody that's here, everybody that's online. Practice this philosophy. So, you know, the thing about what happens when you have a Sangha or a beloved community is it doesn't just impact the community, this community. So the beloved community that we're creating here at Ahiah doesn't just impact Ahiah, it stretches out and it reaches out and it impacts people all around us. And I have an example of that. How many of you know Nancy Johnson? Right? Just raise your hand. Just about everybody, because Nancy Johnson has been here for a long time. She won't even tell me how many years. And Gloria put Nancy up for a meritorious award. Now, this meritorious award is an award that Centers for Spiritual Living, centers with an S, the home office, the group that we belong to that is 400 communities strong across the world. They went out and they were looking for people. They got nominations, and Nancy Johnson has won that award. So I'd like to share with you. She has put together a 2-minute video that's going to be played at the convention that's in Desert Palms this coming week, and I'd like to share that with you.
Good morning, CSL family. I'm Nancy Johnson, and I'm a member of the Ahiah Center for Spiritual Living in Pasadena, California. I am overwhelmed with gratitude to have been selected to receive this honor, honoring my service to my church as well as my service to our community through our association with Friends Indeed, our church's major outreach project. This program serves the Pasadena area with a food bank, a bad weather shelter, a homeless program, a women's program, and many other programs designed to help and serve. They are supported by the Ecumenical Council of Churches and the congregations from those churches. My part in this program is to coordinate the efforts of the Ahiah congregants in donating and supporting Friends Indeed. We have several food drives, a back to school drive, a Thanksgiving food drive, and we have sponsored 25 boys and girls with Christmas gifts for the last 6 years, as well as providing lunches for the women's room. We are a small church group, but we are nicknamed the Ahiah Angels by the staff of Friends Indeed and their clients because they feel the love that is part of our church's culture. I began my own relationship with Friends Indeed, preparing lunches 2 days a month over 10 years ago and planning 2 annual meetings for them before they went virtual. It's been a pleasure serving as a volunteer and encouraging our church family to serve, support, and share our abundance with those in need. I would like to thank my senior minister, Reverend Scott Olson, and our assistant minister, Reverend Michael Lattimore, for their total support of my efforts to keep us active in our community. And I'd also like to thank my church family for their generosity and for taking my calls time after time. And a special thank you to my family who are with me every step of the way. Thank you again, CSL, for this honor, and peace and blessings to each of you.
So Nancy wanted me to make sure that you guys know how much she cares about you, how much she loves you, and how much she appreciates all the support that you give her every time she gives you a call. And, it was really that piece. It was the outreach aspect that got her the award because, many people were up for this award. They just get nominations all over the place. The reason Nancy got it was because not only does she impact this community, but she impacts the greater community. And so, thank you, Nancy, for all of your work. We love you too. So, today is about Wondrous Outcomes. That's the talk title. And we don't always feel like we're having them in our lives. That's not always the way I feel. Sometimes I get sad just like everybody else does. And what do we do about it when we have that feeling? Well, oftentimes we just kind of feel like woe is me, and then we start getting advice from our friends. And so I saw this on a t-shirt. I thought I'd share it with you. This is advice you shouldn't take. It says, let me pour you a tall glass of get over it, and here's a straw so you can suck it up. That's actually the advice that we get so often, isn't it? Just get over it and suck it up. And so I wanted to give you some better advice. wanted to give you something different. And this better advice comes from Paul Coelho. And he says, when each day is the same as the next, it's because people fail to recognize the good things that happen in their lives every day that the sun rises. You know, it's that thing again of what is all the good? Well, the good that we accept. Part of that acceptance is needing to recognize it, needing to see it as and actually associating it with my life. This is the good that is showing up in my life, and I see it. There's a sunrise. I see that sunrise. And so, you know, we don't have to be in order to have wondrous outcomes. We want to not be in this place of you know, kind of woe is me. We need to be coming first and foremost from a place of living in this moment and seeing all the wonders around us, recognizing those wonders, being grateful for those wonders. And when we do that, more and more wondrous outcomes will show up in my life. It's guaranteed, because that's the way it works, right? That's the way Spirit works in our life. So I want to leave you today with an affirmation. It's here on our screen. It's on your screen at home too. So let's say that together. I am present with the world's wonders. I open to possibilities. Let's say that again. I'll say it right this time, okay? I am present with the world's wonders. I open to possibilities. And so it is. And so as you go out into your week, what I'd really love for you to know is I'd love for you to remember that we have to accept our good. Right? It's all out there, but we do have to accept it. And we have to be willing to understand, meaning we have to open ourselves up to a new way of looking at things. Not the way that's been broken, not the way that has been creating what is showing up for us, not what we've been staring at, but a new way of seeing our lives. And when we're open to that, what I know, absolutely, is that Spirit will always, always be there as our partner. And all we need to do is just let Spirit guide us. Thank you, and namaste. And so now's the time to just settle in and to anchor in those ideas with a little bit of prayer. And so Mahesh is coming up. He's going to play a little bit underneath the prayer. And so I just open myself up in this moment to all the wonders of the world. And I start off with the most wondrous of them all, the most inspiring of them all, the most numinous of the feelings that I could possibly ever come up with. And that is what I think of when I think of Spirit, this life, this power, this presence that is everywhere present. That is the love and the peace and the joy, the absolute joy that God is moving through us and as us. And as I know that to be the truth of Spirit, I know it to be 100% true of me too. Even when I don't recognize it, it is always still the truth. You can't just change the truth. You can make something up, but the truth is just the truth. It's always right there. And so as I recognize that truth to be the truth of me and the truth of you and the truth of everyone, that we are that same love and peace and joy that God is, I just recognize it to be the modus operandi of all the world, of everything that we are creating together. And so it's from that place of knowingness that I speak my word as the truth of each and every one of us, knowing absolutely that the wondrous outcomes that we are looking for, they are already here. They're already in the pipeline. They have been in the pipeline since our conception, which was all the way back at the very beginning of time. And so as we just allow ourselves to say yes, yes, my beloved, I will accept all that you give, knowing absolutely that what you are giving to me and to you and to the entire world is exactly what I need in this moment, so that I can move on to the next moment, the next wondrous outcome that is in store for me and in store for you. And for knowing all of that to be the truth of this life, this power, this presence that God is as us, I just give thanks. And I release this prayer to the law, knowing that it's already fulfilled in the mind that God is. And I say life and God are good and very good. And together we say, and so it is. Amen and amen. And so now I just would like to do our conscious contributions. And so I know that many of you have already given your gift through our online process. But if you haven't yet, there's 3 ways of doing a conscious contribution. One is to go to ahiah.com/donate and push a button, fill out whichever way you want that's on there. Or you can text to give at 616-229-2225. If it's your first time giving, just type in the word give and send that to that number, and then it'll ask for your banking information. Or you can always mail a check in to 150 North El Molino Avenue, Pasadena, California, 91101. However you do that, we appreciate all that you give, knowing that it supports not just what we do here on Sunday, but the outreach programs that Nancy Johnson does, the classes that we give, all the different ways that we show up in this community. And so if you're here today, there's also envelopes, offering envelopes that are in the pews. You can put whatever you're giving there and then drop it off in one of the golden offering baskets at the end of service. So here is our blessing. I'd like for us to all say that together. This gift I give is God in action. I send it forth with joy, confidence, and ease. I am blessed by the law of giving and receiving, as I now share my gift with life. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And so it is. Amen and amen. And so now I'd like to ask Alison to come on back up. She's going to give us another song.
Over time, I've been building my castle of love, just for two. Never knew you were my reason. I've gone much too far for you now to say I've got to throw my castle away over dreams I have picked out a perfect come true. Though you never knew it was of you I'd been dreaming. The Sandman has come from too far away
for you to say come back some other day. And though you don't believe that they do come true. For did my dreams come true when I looked at you? And maybe too, if you would believe, you too might be overjoyed, overloved, over me. Over hearts I've painfully turned every stone, just to find I'd found what I'd searched to discover. I've come much too far for me now to find the love that I sought can never be mine. And though you don't believe that they do come true. For did my dream come true when I looked at you? And maybe too, if you would believe, you too might be overjoyed, overloved, over me. And though the odds seem improbable, what do they know? For in romance, all true love needs is a chance. And maybe with a chance you can find you too, like I'm overjoyed, overloved, over you. Over you.
More joy, more joy. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, band, Mahesh, Chris. So let's see, while we go ahead and get the kids in, I'll just tell a couple of quick announcements. First of all, remember that we have practitioners who are available. If you want to connect with them, best place to go is to our website. There's a Meet Our Practitioner webpage there, and they have all their contact information there. You can also do your prayer, put in a prayer request there, and it only ever comes to me and to the practitioners to pray over. And then we have Dial a Prayer. Every week we put up a new Dial a Prayer, and so it's a great way to just connect, to hear a prayer, to hear a quick reading. I also want to let you know that we have a new class that is starting. Patricia is going to be teaching a class called This Thing Called You. It's based on the sweetest little book by Ernest Holmes. I mean, it's really my favorite book of his. And she's got an 8-week class that's starting this little small February 6th. And it ends, Ellie is teaching 5 gifts. They're going into their 2nd week this coming week. So you're still welcome to join. Would love to see you there at either of those classes. And the nominating committee, if you're interested in the nominating committee, I talked about that last week. And then this month's installment of Creating the Beloved Community is on the 31st. It's a Monday, and we would love to see you there. And then we do have a youth program. So let me hand this over to Lisa. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. We had Connie and Audrey with us today.
Oh, I don't think it's on. Gloria?
Am I low?
Oh, the wireless is on.
Can you hear me now?
It's on. It's working.
So,
Okay.
that's my favorite. Thank
go
you.
ahead.
So today we were talking about being in the here and now and harmony. And we explored that when we are in the here and now, what that is, being present, that it brings us inner peace. And inner peace is what helps us be in harmony with ourselves, our true selves, and those around us. And it also helps us to be kind and tolerant and inclusive of others. And we read this really great book called The Big Umbrella about a child that goes out on a rainy day, and her umbrella looks pretty ordinary, but as she's walking along, she invites people that are out in the rain to come under the umbrella with her. And that includes everybody, like tall, short, four-legged people, everything. And eventually, some of the people started to worry that the umbrella wouldn't be big enough. But as you see, it always is.
Yay!
And then we made pictures and we put our own loved ones and what was important to us under our umbrellas. And just a reminder that next week we will be offering Zoom. So it'll be at the same time. It will still have in person, but we will also do youth church on Zoom as well. And
we're going to be giving you a different Zoom thing than usual, so we'll
Yes.
send that out. Look for it in the newsletter and also on the website.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Hi. All right, so let's go ahead. Thank you for the youth department telling us all about that and sending us out with some more joy. We got joy going on all over the place today. So I have the benediction up on our screen. Why don't you go ahead and join in with me? Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all my affairs. I accept it, I am it, and I share it, just the way it appears and just the way it appears not. Thank you, life. Amen and amen. So it is. And so it's been a lovely day with you guys today. I would love to chat with you for a little bit during fellowship. So if you're here, I'll meet you outside. And if you're online, I'll spend about 10-15 minutes and then I'll get online with you guys. So love chatting with you. And so it is. Thank you and namaste.
You were only waiting for this moment to arrive. Oh. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to be free. Oh, blackbird fly. Blackbird fly into the light of a dark black night. thing. Oh, one and